We're here today to talk about our snow routes and as well be the no, excuse me, the new map that we have out there, new revised map that we have out that's available for the public to use as well. We've made some changes to the snow route declaration plan from what existed previously, and the intent of that is so that we can move quickly and efficiently to grade priority streets should we experience an extreme snowfall in the city. Should a snow route parking ban be declared, the vehicles must be removed from the streets as per the bylaw, and the streets are indicated and marked with these permanent signs, and the intent for that removal of the cars is so we can clear the snow efficiently, effectively, and get curb to curb as well. Previously the snow route plan was that there was one snow route for the whole city, and when that snow route declaration was made, you had 48 hours that that snow route parking ban was implemented in place, and cars had to be off the street for the duration of that time. That was proven to be a very problematic process, and as a result we haven't used the snow route plan since it was first implemented a few years back, and truthfully we haven't had to use the requirement of the snow route plan because we just haven't had the same extreme weather that we would call one under. The snow route plan now has been changed and revised. We now have two distinct separate snow routes, and one of them is a green circle route and the other is a blue square route. This sign here indicates the blue square route, but there's another one sign that looks just like this with a green circle on it as well, but it indicates the green circle route. So each one of those, when they are called, is implemented for 24 hours at a time as opposed to 48 hours for the entire route. We will always call the green route first, and then followed by the blue route afterwards. The intent is that we won't call a snow route unless it's absolutely necessary, unless we sustain a significant amount of snow that we can't basically handle with our priority route system that we have in place already. But as we know, winter is unpredictable. We can have extremes from cold to warm weather to small snow events to very significant snow events or back-to-back snow events such as what we had a few weeks ago. The snow route itself, the green and blue circle routes, green circle and the blue square routes, we will not call those, as I said, unless absolutely necessary, but there are only 2 times of the day that we can call a snow route. According to the bylaw, the way it's in place right now is at 7 a.m. or 3 p.m. is when we'll make a declaration that a snow route parking ban is implemented. And as I said earlier, we'll always start with the green circle route first. So once that parking ban declaration is put in place for a snow route, there will be a minimum of 8 hours notification given to residents to move cars off the street. So using the example of a 7 a.m. notification, we will not implement a snow route parking ban until at least at the earliest 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Same thing following 3 p.m. we wouldn't implement before 11 p.m. that night. That's not to say we wouldn't give more than 8 hours notice, but that's the minimum notice that we'll give to residents to move cars off the street. It's the responsibility of residents to know if they live or work on a snow route, and the snow routes, as I said, are clearly defined by these signs. They're permanent signs. They're up year-round, so they're not a seasonal sign that come up and go, or a temporary sign such as we've used with the yellow high-visibility sandwich boards that we use for snow grading. And each one of those signs, as I said earlier as well, is marked with either the blue square or the green circle. There's no defined trigger point as to when we will call a snow route. Again, as I said, we will only call if it's absolutely necessary, if it's something that we can't, if we feel that we can't do a sufficient or effective job with our priority route system as we have right now. The trigger points could be a multiple of different factors, everything from snow accumulation to drifting to even temperature. If you get enough snow and you get a warm spell right after that, snow tends to puff up and become very problematic for vehicles to navigate. So there's a whole variety of different issues that we'd have to take into account as to why we'd want to call a snow route parking ban. We recognize that a snow route parking ban can be problematic as well for residents. The bylaw does allow for us to ticket and tow, and we will do so as necessary. We're also hoping for compliance that also residents and we'll remove vehicles off the street, but we will play that by ear, so to speak, and we'll adjust as required, and we'll do parking enforcement and relocation towing as necessary. The relocation towing is the same as what we've done in the past for when we've done snow grading or for street sweeping is we'll relocate that vehicle to the closest off-route street that we can. It may be simply around the corner from where that residence may be, right, or the car is parked in front of a residence or business, or as close as possible to another location. And you can find it. We'll talk about that on here as well too. The snow grading map. Excuse me. This is a new map that we have now put in place. It's an interactive map. And on this map here, you can see on the left side on the border there, there's a different layers that you can activate on this map. And it shows on there the priority street system for snow grading. You can also activate a layer that shows the green circle snow route or the blue square snow route. And as well, there's school zones on there showing where the restricted hours are and where the school zone sites are. On this map itself, just if you go back still, please. That's right. If you're on this map itself, you show, right now it's showing the priority street system itself. You can turn the layers on and off, or you can leave the layers on and couple over top. So it's up to the user how they wish to use that. So if you want to just see the green route, you can deactivate the other layers and just see the green route as an example. Or you can leave them all on, and it's pretty popular. You can zoom in, of course, so you can get right down to your block and see exactly where things are. It's an interactive map, so the user is able to navigate as they wish. Also, in the top left corner there, it shows snow event grading, and it shows citywide grading and find my vehicle. As I mentioned earlier, if we do have to do a relocation towing, you can also activate on Find My Vehicle to take you to a link on the website that shows you how to find your vehicle. If we get to a point where we do a citywide grading process as well, and that's where we have the average snowpack of being 15 centimeters or more across residential streets. On that tab there where it shows citywide grading, we'll also have the schedule up there as to which neighborhood we're going through at which times. It won't be there today because we're not going to activate one. We don't have that necessity for one today. The snow event grading itself, as it's showing on the priority route system right now, once we are going through in a snow event, we will also, twice a day, we'll activate the map, or I should say activate the map, update the map, and we will show where we have progressed, where we have gone through on the priority route system. So the colors that are showing right now, as you can see the colors, I'm challenged on colors, but I think that's purple, priority 1, and orange, and whatever the priority 3 is. I'm not very good at colors, sorry. We use red, green, blue on our red, yellow, blue, and red, yellow, green on our own maps, but it doesn't work as well on the computer, so the colors are changed here for this. They will be changed to a black line marking. So if we're going through the priority 1 streets as an example, we're going through as they're being graded, they'll be updated and shown as a black line so that you can see where we've progressed. And that allows the user to see where progress is made. They can plan routes home as an example if it's at the end of a work day to see which priority routes have been cleared, which ones may not, or they may decide we don't want to go on that route because city crews could be on that route as well and could be problematic for vehicles to get by. If you go to the next slide now, please. One more. There, here's the green circle route as an example. So this shows the layer of the green circle route for a snow route itself. And on that route, as I said earlier, you can go to different layers and see which is on there. You can overlap the blue layer, or the blue square route on this layer, the green, and as well the priority routes. And it also shows on here the snow storage site locations as the blue stars as to where they are. But that's more for the snow haulers itself. Activation in terms of the notification at 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. We'll be using local media to announce the snow route should we call one. There's also an opportunity for residents to register. To get an e-notification, they can go to snow.route@saskatoon.ca and register their email, and should we call a snow route activation plan, then we will send out the appropriate emails to those that have registered for that as well too. The intent of the map itself, as I said, at some point in time we will get to an active map where we will be able to show GPS routing, but that will not be in place for this winter. For right now, it'll be a stagnant map in the sense that we're showing where progress has made as opposed to where we are at the time. but that's an evolution process that will happen in subsequent winters as we go forward. So.